Hi, I'm Tash from Heart and Design. Thanks so much for clicking through. Let's do the fun bit. So you'll need watercolour paper, you'll need a palette, you'll need some watercolour paints, be them in trays like mine, in pans or in tubes. You could also use watercolour pencils, and you need brushes, water, pencil, preferably a kneadable eraser, but a rubber one will do, a liner pen and a white gel pen, just in case we want to do some white highlights. And I think that is it. Now, as I say, I've drawn this on a tutorial available on the website with my new downloadable step-by-step art sheets. Now, the first thing I want you to do when you've drawn it out is to give it a rub with your kneadable eraser. Try not to press too hard in the first place. I'm quite heavy-handed because when I draw, I like you to be able to see well from the camera, but it doesn't help when you're using watercolors. You don't want to see all that pencil underneath. Yeah, you want to just see the watercolor paint. Okay, so that's that done. Now, let me just make sure this is in the other camera. Yep. It's all in. Good. Now the sunshine then is what we will start on because it's nice bright yellow. Let's go for it. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to find a kind of size brush that isn't too big or too little. Here we go. This is a size 4. It's actually an Artful one. I have the Artful boxes. They come once every 3 months and it's just like a little art treat. It's my little treat for working hard. And I absolutely love it, even though it might have things in it that I already have. It's never, you can never have too many art supplies, in my opinion. So I also love hearing about all the other artists in the book that comes with it. You learn so much from other people. You'll never, especially in art, you'll never know everything. So yeah, if you're in the UK, I don't know if it goes worldwide, Artful is a really great subscription box for practical supplies. Yeah, I really enjoy it. I can't remember how much it is. I think it's about 30 or 40 pounds every time, but that's like every three months. So monthly it doesn't work. Monthly and weekly it doesn't work out to be too much. Right, I wanted to put a bit of white in because I think it's a bit bright. So I'm just gonna dull down the yellow a little bit. Losing my words now. I think today I've done quite a lot of tutorials, so my brain cells are starting to slow down. Okay, that's okay. It's a bit lighter. Now we're going to go in and do the triangles. Now for this, I think what I'll do, yeah, I'm going to need the smaller brush. I mean, I've just tried with a bigger brush, but I think I can be so much more accurate with the little brush. I don't know if you can see, I'm just kind of tickling the paper with it, just to make sure that I don't go too far out of the drawing. I mean, you can always, there's usually always a way to put things right in painting if you make a mistake. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day you can always start again. So, but if you can stay within what you want to stay within with watercolor, it is easier. Acrylics you can just go over. I mean, most of the acrylic paints are very opaque, so they just go over the top of each other, but in watercolor it's not so easy. They are so transparent. It's very difficult to go over mistakes, so best try not to make them in the first place. There you are, we're getting there. And again. Okay, so I went quiet then. Sometimes I do when I'm concentrating. So basically I've just coloured in all of the yellow. We will bring back the actual illustration side of thing with pen afterwards, so don't worry too much about that. Now we need to mix up like an orange colour. I think I've got the right colour already without having to do too much. Yeah, I think that's fine. Maybe a little bit of orange could be mixed in there. Let me mix up. I'm going to mix up as much as I can so that I've got enough colour to do the whole thing, because that took up nearly all of my paint mix. And you want it to get exactly the same, and sometimes you just can't mix exactly the same. Yeah, I like that. It just needs a little bit of orange mixed in, and then I think I'll be happy. Yeah. Okay, so let's go in. Yeah, that's perfect. Now I can use the bigger brush on this because the sections are a bit bigger. Not too worried. Probably should have waited till it had dried properly. I don't think it's quite dry. Let's give it a dry. Okay, where's my colour? There we are. So I'm going to carry on going in with my nice orange into all those triangle spaces. I think what I'll do is just quickly draw the circle so we know where the circle is and it's all in one, because from then on I can just colour in the triangles then as I come across them like that. I'd have done the edge, so it's fine. You won't really see the difference when you dry it. It will just look like one block of orange. It's fine. And don't worry too much about going over the lines a little bit into the yellow, or, you know, this is watercolour. It's meant to be quite a freeing medium for art, so just enjoy it. There we go. There we go. Get in there. Oh, splodged over a bit too much, so I'll just leave that a minute. Move on to the next one. You can go back and pick it up. Your brush will eventually pick up any excess paint. If you do that, make sure you're using the point to get into the little nook. Yeah, and then flick it out. Don't forget, if it helps, turn your paper around. Don't forget to do that. You're not restricted by just having it up the right way. And sometimes when you're doing things like this, it's easier to have it upside down, and then you can just see the bit you're looking at and you're not being distracted by the entire picture. What you think looks right, it will end up being right because you've been doing it from the logical side of your brain. Right, there we go. Let's give him a little dry. There, Absolutely love watercolour for this. Like, I've put down one mixed colour that I've mixed, but as it's gone thicker and thinner and waterier or more pigmented, you get so many different shades. I love that. Right. Now I'm going to get my thinner brush and I'm literally just going to take the orange pretty much, I think, straight from, might be a bit too bright for that. Let's try this orange. What's this orange like? Yeah, that's better. Okay, so I've got a few different oranges there now, and I'm going to go around the edge with my thin brush and just go straight from the paint. I don't really want it too watery. I want lots of pigment. And I'm using the brush to kind of draw that circle for me. It's the right thickness, and if I use the same pressure all the way around, it will give me the same thickness circle all the way around. Now remember, it's a painting. It's not meant to be an accurate circle. It's just a little illustration, a bit of fun. Don't be worrying if your circle is not a perfect circle. With art, we try not to have rules, or I don't anyway. There's enough rules in life, and when I'm doing my artwork, I just don't want too many rules. Learn the rules, and then you learn how to unlearn them. Learn how to get by without having the rules, but still making a nice piece of art. There we go. See? Okay, it's straight. No, but looks great, doesn't it? Right. So now we're going to do the outside edges. No, that's too red. Just going to try and find the right colour for that. I mean, I could go straight for brown. No, that'll be too dull, I think. Maybe this lighter brown. No, too dull. How about, do you know what? I might go for that purpley one. Yeah, let's do that. No, I know this purpley one. Let's try this one. Yeah, it's a bit darker. Yeah, okay, let's do it. I'm going to make up a bit of a waterier mixture. I don't want the pigment to be too strong, so I've only got a little brush, and I am going to use the little brush to do all of the parts around the edge, because I really do want to try and get them as in place as I can. So there we go. The outside edge has dried now, so it's fine. I mean, at the end of the day, with this, choose whatever colours you want to choose. I was drawn to use a deep purple, but you can use whatever you want to use. Use your own colours. It may be a yellow sun to me, but you might want a bright green one. Whatever you like. And if you've got metallics, I don't have metallic watercolours, but if I did, I would have done this with some metallics. Something I want. It's on my would like list, but I try not to complain about what I don't have and appreciate what I do. So this is all good. So don't worry if they end up kind of congealing into each other and mixing into each other. It's fine, because remember, we're going to separate them, we're going to draw them again with the black pen. And like this one I felt was too low. You can go back and make them bumpier, do whatever you want. Yeah, so let's make them higher over here. Oops, a bit too much paint, spread it across. There we go. I'm liking it. Well, it doesn't matter if you don't like it at the end of the day. It's just fun, isn't it? It's just practice. You learn what you don't like, you learn what you do like, and you try to remember for next time. Sorry about my creaky table. It's an old traditional wooden table that I've painted up, and I love it, but I had to break it down to move it into my house, and it loves to creak all the time. One day I'll have a brand new studio, and I'll have lots of nice things in it, and a table that does not creak. This is my dream. Creak. Right, we're getting there. So this is the more fiddlier bit. just because you've got to get the shape right, and it's not easy. And then it's trying not to make them mingle into each other too much, and then you want to make sure they're all roughly the same height. So take your time, don't rush, take your time. Actually not doing them where I drawn them now, just doing where I think they should be. There we go. See, that one's kind of gone into one, so let's make that a bit higher. There we go. Oops. Now what you could do is, if you had like acrylic pens, you could colour that in, or you could use your watercolour pencils to do this bit, and then just add water and it'll be done. But I do find that I prefer paints, the effect of actual physical watercolour paints, than watercolour pencils, although I do have them because they are good for getting in detail. Okay, we're done. So I'm going to let that dry now. Right, so now I'm going to get my liner pen, and I am going to go in and redraw my picture now that the colours are all in place, and this is when you will see it come to life. And that's what I love about watercolour illustrations, is that your watercolour disappears the image, but then it comes back to life again when you add the pen. I'm going to go around and do all my jagged edges. There we go. And you know, once this is done, once I've done the black pen, I'll probably stop, but you could continue on with it. You could be adding colours, you could be adding patterns. If you had a really big piece of paper, then you could make it go bigger and bigger and see what patterns you could do, like a mandala. Just think, I always think it's good to think, yeah, that's a great starting place, but then what can I do to keep going with that? What can I do to carry on? I'm enjoying it, so how can I carry on? And I always hope to give you illustrations that can be added onto and aren't just as they are. Don't forget, and I've always said this in other videos as well, you can add 3D things to your pictures, like gems and glitter, things like that, and ribbons, anything that you would normally use with any kind of card making or paper crafts. Use them on your little illustrations. Put them on, especially if you're doing this for sketchbooks and things and you're going to look back at them. Keep going with it. What can you do to make it yours? What can you do to make it different? And if you do, I'd love to see. There we are. Our smelly sunshine's popping out again. Right, so now I'm just going to go round, and I'm actually using my arm. I'm pivoting it. It's in the same place, but I'm kind of just pivoting it so it's going around without me having to think about it, which is why I move the paper, because it really helps me to keep my line in one position. And look, it just joined up beautifully. I mean, it's not a perfect circle, but it's pretty good freehand. So that's my tip to you. Just keep your hand in the same position and pivot it on the spot until you can't anymore, and then turn it round until you're in that position again and again. Just keep pivoting your hand twisting it on the same spot until you can't anymore. And then all I've got to do here is join it up, and it practically does automatically. It's a little trick. I don't know how, but my brain just does it. So we're going to go round, put all the dashes in, because we did have dashes in that section. There we are. Nearly there. Apologies for going quiet. When I have repetitive tasks, I go quiet, and I've done quite a few tutorials today. My throat's starting to hurt. Okay, now just for going over my bumpy edge, and that's when we can bring the shape of our bumpy edges back to life again, where they've kind of congealed. See, they're all independent bumps of their own. And we go all the way around with that. All the way around. Okay, so I think it's done. But what you could do if you wanted to, and I always say this because we've got lots of darks in there, you could go in now with a white gel pen if you wanted to and just add some little bits, or if you had like a silver and gold pens, or even any markers, you could go in and just add some nice definition to things. I'm just kind of doing this as though the light's hitting. Can you see? Just about. It's almost like the light's hitting on those little things at the back, the little bumps. So we've got some light there. And go all the way around. You could just literally, I think with things like this, you could go mad. You could do all sorts of things. So I shall stop there. You can carry on. Please leave in the comments anything that you've done from this, and if you've enjoyed it. It's a really good scrapbook, sketchbook or scrapbook thing to do. You can do a tiny one, you can do a big one. It's a good page filler if you can't think of anything and you just want to sit down. You could even just, which you will see on my other videos, you can colour pencil it, so you can be sat watching the telly or have it on in the background and just have your pencils with you. You don't have to paint. So yeah, all felt pens, of course. So I hope you enjoyed that. We'll catch you in the next video, I hope. Take care. Bye.